All right, welcome to another edition of From Crystal with Love. You guys know this is Ready to Love. I don't even know I think this is like the eighth season of Ready to Love, and we are in Dallas. It is Friday night, and we decided that we would do recaps every Friday night so that we could talk about what happens on the show. Unfortunately, the recap is during the Bell Collective, but we'll definitely be doing Bell Collective recaps as well. Tonight's episode looked absolutely crazy. So I definitely want you guys to check that out. If you're not checking it out right now, make sure you go back and check it out on OWN. But tonight is all about Ready to Love. We are on episode 2, and Dallas is already turned up. So make sure you guys go ahead and subscribe and share this broadcast. I have like a fan favorite on tonight, and she and I are going to go through and talk about some of the things that stood out on tonight's episode. As always, if you guys are watching, I would love to hear your thoughts about tonight's episode. This is interactive. And then also, if you have questions for my guest, you can make sure that you can put your questions in the chat so we can get we can get a little bit in her business. You know what I mean? A little bit in her business to find out what she's been doing since she left Ready to Love. So without further ado, hey, Keisha, I'm going to bring on my girl, Shay.
Hey.
Hey, lady, how are you?
I'm doing good. How about you?
I cannot complain. It's Friday night and it is thunderstorming on this side. So if I go out, you guys know it's because of the rain, because it is like lightning and thundering like crazy out here. So what's going on your side? You watched tonight's episode?
Woo! Child, I did. Whoa. All I can say is, like, what is really going on?
Hey, you know what? I feel like every season we get different stuff. Hey, Keisha, thank you so much for commenting. You guys, let me know what you thought about tonight's episode. Usually we see stuff like that happen like episode 5, episode 6, but tonight I feel like the elimination, if the ladies didn't tell Tommy about that, I feel like it would have happened. He would have had to go home anyway.
He needed to go. like, come on, man. What you doing up there? You really play. I couldn't even see him being at least anybody taking him a little serious.
Well, that's it. We're gonna talk a little bit about that. Keisha said, "Not Shay, the first lady of Ready to Love."
That's the nickname, Keisha. I'm gonna take it.
That's the nickname. I did not know. Yeah, I did not know First Lady was in the building.
Man.
Well, for those of you that don't know, Shay was on season 1. And before we get into tonight's episode, because I feel like we watch it as viewers and enjoy it, but what's your take been on Dallas as somebody that knows what happens behind the scenes? Like, do you feel like from the mixer to the conversations, the little green screen conversations, do you feel like we don't really get the full story once we see it on television that happens behind the scenes?
I mean, that went from 0 to 100 real quick. Dang, we did have a little kind of like buffer. We got to know each other, had a little conversation. They went straight to the sex talk. What you got? What you doing? How you lay it down? How you put it down? This how I want it.
So you didn't feel like, let me ask you this, on your season, and you guys kind of started it off, right? There was nobody new when you guys came on to the show. When you went through your audition, you didn't know what was going to happen, so you had no idea.
It was like I guess we didn't have any expectations. I guess with it being season 8 now, they are ready to go to have their one-liners or zings or whatever. But we were very like new and respectable and trying to maintain boundaries and not offend anybody, and just very careful on how we, handled, even in certain scenes where people were going back and forth. It just seemed like they held back instead of just, dog, you're getting up and you want to whoop somebody already on episode 2?
On episode 2, I mean, they only had been on like 2 group dates and maybe a few. Now, we have heard people say that they go on a lot more dates than we see.
I mean, they do editing. Let me say this. They will do some editing, but you can only give them what they edit.
and they can only edit what you gave. All
Yeah.
right. So what did you think? What did you think about Habibi's comment? His comment to Janelle.
About her mama?
You said what?
About her mama?
No. Not
Oh,
the
about her
boobs.
boobs. That's the other girl.
The
Oh,
boobs,
okay.
right? When he said he would have sucked them. Like,
That's why I'm like, you can't take him serious. And he, first of all, he would have got cussed out real good. Um, and then I don't know her enough. Let me tell you this. He has misbehaved enough
yeah,
that it could possibly be true. If he would have behaved some and not have been talking crazy throughout he might could have said, no, I didn't.
right.
But because he been wilding out 2 episodes,
Yeah.
man, get into it. Let at least be 5 episodes.
He sent himself home. But one of the things he said, which I thought was interesting, because he was on the chopping block the first day.
Right.
The first day. Michelle says Shay has a glare reflecting off her glasses.
Oh.
Okay, just saying so she don't say, why didn't someone say something?
Okay, thank you. Well, I don't know which way. It's from my computer, so
Yeah, it's just a computer on the
yeah.
glasses. But so for him to say that to Janelle, I'll put it like this. The comment that he made on the date, if he hadn't have done, hey Colton, if he hadn't have said all that other stuff, because they were going back and forth and he was like, your mama ain't shit. I don't think I would have taken that, because I feel like they were playing. She was like, my mama didn't care, blah, blah, blah. I don't think I would have taken it the way she did.
I probably wouldn't, but still, dang, like he still shouldn't have said it.
Still shouldn't have said it. He shouldn't have said
It's
it.
still, I might would have brushed it off, but he still, yeah.
He was still in there, but he said so. The first, when he was on the chopping block on the first episode, he said that I have such a great story, they would be missing out to send me home. So that made me feel like Janelle was right when she said that he was only there for the entertainment.
Yeah, he's not. Who cares about your story?
Right.
Like the story, you are in the story. We're making the story is to meet someone and fall in love. Wrong show, buddy.
And then he kept saying, well, how do you feel about me being a saxophonist?
I'm just tripping about how you just love, telling everybody you a cheater.
Yeah, that was another. I mean, that was another thing. Okay, but let me ask you this. I feel like a lot of guys you meet and you'll be like, have you cheated before? A lot of them will say no. And I feel like that's BS. So I feel like he was doing too much, but I also feel like most guys lie.
His delivery was terrible.
His delivery was horrible.
His delivery was, so you cheat? Yeah, I cheat. I love to cheat. That's what I do. I just cheat. My middle name is Cheater.
He was like,
down.
so what do you do? What do you do when you go out of town? I just found another girl. Oh, so you cheat? Yeah.
I cheat. I loves to cheat.
Right.
Hey, I want his little hat. I wanted to push his hat down some too, though.
What is the hat? What is the hat about?
I don't know if he's making fun of the culture or he's really a part of the Arabic culture. Like now you being disrespectful.
I don't think he's really a part. I don't think he was making fun. I think he's trying to be different and trying to be. I think he was trying too hard. I think he's trying to be a part of something that he ain't a part of, because it just made no sense. You wearing a Habib, but your actions are not, because men that have a certain religion and they carry themselves a certain way. Not saying that they don't cheat, but they don't talk about it like that. Like it was just given he wanted to be the reality star. He came in thinking, I'm gonna turn up, because he was like, I got spice, and the right girl will they said he didn't have it on right tonight. I think he was trying to get social media talking about him. I think he was going overboard to get a reaction. Shay, can you hear me? I think she's frozen. Uh-oh. Okay. Michelle said, looked like he threw it on real quick. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Just jump back on. Um, all right, you guys, let me know what you thought about Habibi's comments tonight while Shay gets back online, because I feel like I feel like he was trying really really hard to be the to get the attention, and he got the attention, and the attention threw him home. Um, let's talk about the fact that Tequila was taken up for him so much. I thought that was really weird. That she felt so passionate about taking up for Habibi after, and I don't feel like he was really genuine. I feel like he was giving her attention because he knew that she was on the chopping block too, and that's why he felt like he wanted to do that. Let me bring Shay back on. Okay, all right.
Hey.
Computer, it's the weather here, but I was saying like, okay, what did you think about the fact that Tequila went so hard for him after just knowing him a quick amount of time? And I don't really like, what did you think about that whole interaction to the point that she was in tears about keeping him on the show?
I think sometimes that we need to sit back and be quiet and just listen and read the room first.
Mm-hmm.
Because now it's to look back and see his behavior. Just think if you didn't know all that and you
Mm-hmm.
looking back and seeing his behavior, it's embarrassing to know that you have defended somebody so hard and they have been a complete jerk.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes we need to just sit back and watch. I don't think she took enough time to sit back and watch and pay attention. She jumped the gun, and now it make you look like you wilding out. They got to tell you to sit down. Oh man, they got to tell you to sit down. They got to escort you out the room.
That early on. Anissa says Habibi seems like he was trying to be an exceptional Negro, but he portrayed himself as lost and confused. I think he was trying too hard too. I think he was trying to stand out. I think on this show, especially after you guys season, people know what's going to happen, and I feel like the people that like you said, people come equipped with their one-liners. They're trying to get more as much airtime as possible. So I feel like
That's not the way to do it. That not to offend people and me too them.
yeah, me too. Yeah, that was a whole Me Too movement.
Yeah.
I just wish Tequila wouldn't have jumped out there for him, because I feel like his interest in her was because he felt like she would be an ally for him, and she was. I don't feel
Mm-hmm.
like it was genuine.
No, not at all. I his strategy was terrible. Like I did he offended with her, didn't he?
No, he didn't offend her, but I don't know if he could have offended her, because she was so, when she was on the chopping block on the first episode, her feelings got hurt. And that's another thing I want to ask you. Now we know on your season you went, all the way to the end.
Right.
But did you come on think, like, to me it's weird that people get so upset when they're put in the bottom. Like she said her feelings were hurt. She said like she felt like they played her. And even the guys, like, they were upset about being in the bottom. But don't you kind of have to know that that could be a possibility coming on that show?
I just feel like people take it personally, like it's a blow to their ego. For me, my whole thing was once I it's only one I like here. When I don't like him anymore or he doesn't like me, it's time for me to go. I'm not expecting, and I guess that comes from my upbringing. Every time I go somewhere, just not people to fall all over me.
Mm,
Um, and I think people are taking it like somebody is saying something to you personally, like you're not attractive or you're ugly or somebody doesn't want you. It
mm-hmm.
just and then you're having these short interactions with people. So maybe somebody didn't get enough time to get to know you, or find out what kind of person you are. So it's moving so quickly, but
Yeah.
I don't think it's anything personal. I just didn't take anything personal. If Pastor Chris or somebody didn't like me, I would be fine with that.
But you did have other guys besides Mike that you obviously were with that were interested in you. You just weren't interested in them.
No, I wasn't interested in anybody, period, except Mike. That was it. Like, even the producers was like, Shay, come on, you gotta like somebody. And I was like, nope, just like him, and I'm not going on any more dates. And when that doesn't work with him, I'm done.
So when you came and you saw everybody, obvious Mike was the only person you were attracted to from the jump.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm just thinking about, I thought Darnell was cute, but he was so nervous. Oh my God. Like he didn't know what to do with himself. I think Mike was the most confident in the room. And when I walked in on the balcony, he was like, come here.
Yeah.
So everybody else kind of fell back on their own. Now,
Yeah.
I don't know if it's because they were intimidated by Mike or, what the case was, but for me, that was it. And once that was done, I mean, it wasn't a competition. It was all about chemistry. And I just hear that people are saying that all the time, like you're competing. It's competing for what? If the person not attracted to you or doesn't like you, then all at this point you're doing is setting a person up to manipulate you and pitch
That's
y'all against each other. As soon
yeah.
as they detect that, they got full control instead of saying, hey, if you like me, you like me. If you don't, you don't.
Yeah. I think that's what happened with Tequila because her and Janelle had no reason to be arguing back and forth. None.
Whoa. And let me say this. I think just looking across the board, I think all the women are good looking. So I couldn't say anybody. I mean, there's been other seasons that I've been like, woof. But what happened with casting there? Um, but 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 the most part, I think all the women dress well, they
Mhm.
look nice, they're very well kept. So I just it has to be another story behind that
Yeah.
why she jumped up and was gunning for her. Now I've heard the other girls say some, like she called the woman when the guy, I guess they were playing bowling.
Yeah.
And she was
Yeah.
like, don't let that little girl get you. Hey, don't do that.
Get right. And then okay, then also on that group date, so that group date, her and the other girl both had interest in the same guy, Red.
Hmm.
And this is we're talking about Janelle. So then when they were leaving, if you guys picked up on it, she was like, well, her her bag was fake and mine is real. And I was like,
What? Wait a minute. I missed that.
she did.
This girl with the big curly hair?
Yeah, yeah. So you remember they were competing back and forth. They were
Right.
competing back and forth. And so she was like, don't let her get you in trouble. And I thought it was all health, fun, being cute.
Now,
But
I
then,
didn't like the little girl comment. Don't call a grown woman a little girl
well,
in
don't
your face.
also don't also comment on somebody's bag like that. I just
They
felt like
all fake. If you want to claim your bag is real, walk around with the receipt. But to me, when I see a bag, I just assume they're all fake.
well, I mean, it's and then but to throw that out, the cameras are on. The cameras
Yeah.
are listening to
And
y'all.
what does he care?
Can I say that men don't care if the bag is fake as long as the ass looks like they don't even care if the ass is fake. If they if they like it, they like it.
They'll buy you one, booty and purse.
Right, right. I felt like you guys season again. That was one where we didn't really see a lot of cattiness on camera. Absolutely, people were really impressed by the fact that you and Shataba, who both were, kind of going out with the same person, weren't competing against each other. As you've watched the seasons go on, why do you think the females are so competitive, and the males too, to an extent?
Man,
We
they're
saw that
so
last season.
nasty to each other.
Yeah, what do you think is up with that? Because that comment, the other girl didn't hear that comment, but now once she watches the show and hears that, she gonna feel some kind of way. So what do you think that's about?
So for me, and I have producers that are friends.
Hmm.
So I mean, they know what their job is. So, and their job is really to get good TV. And I was told initially, like, you're gonna seem boring. My concern was more about how when y'all leave Atlanta, I still have people that I'm gonna run into. I'm
Right.
still gonna run into these people that I'm saying slick stuff to. I'm gonna run into their family. I'm gonna run into their friends.
Hmm.
So I just had to keep it on the up and up. That was for me. Now,
Right.
and I didn't care about getting any camera time. It just so happened that I made it to the end because being my authentic self. For
Hmm.
some reason, I think these people feel like they're gonna get more camera time if they insult people and take jabs and they want to have these memorable moments. That's gonna carry on so long. When those cameras off and somebody catch you out in the streets, or their cousin catch you, or they or their sister catch you, it ain't no backpedaling in.
Yeah.
So I just and the producers do a good job of getting in your ear and setting you up for, you better say this, or what you think about her purse, or and that's their job. Their job is to be messy.
Right.
And get good show. So it's whether or not you're gonna buy into it. I refuse to. I'm not doing it because I'm the type of person that's gonna be mad for a long time about it.
Well, not only that, I think people don't realize when people are watching it, you could think that you got in a good one then, but you're gonna get backlash from social media. And it's interesting to me that some of the biggest like bullies on, and not even just on Ready to Love, but even on some of the other shows, some of the women that are meanest to other women, then when they get it back from social media and they start calling them names, they are butthurt about it. And it's like, oh, I have to take a break from social media. My feelings are hurt. And it's like, but you did that.
But when I tell you social media is vicious, and you could say, you in there thinking you talking one-on-one, you will look up and you'll hear that notification going bing, 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 bing. and then out of nowhere, a year later, somebody will watch the show and bing, bing, bing. I mean, all the time. So, I mean, this stuff lives forever. And those trolls are, I mean, they are relentless.
Yeah.
So I remember Shatava and I had a scene, and she said when we were in my shop, and I was like, Shatava, don't listen to him. And she said something slick, and they were killing her to the end. And in the end, we had this sister moment, and that kind of, redeemed her. But up until then, they were just, she's using her. I mean, they were on her head. So you got to be careful.
Yeah. It doesn't come off. In a positive way. And the viewers will flip. They'll love the slick comments, but then they'll also wait to turn on you. So I don't know if talking about somebody's bag being fake and yours being real.
The trolls will investigate. They'll blow a picture up. They'll compare their set. She better not have one fake bag in her closet, because soon as they are going to blast her. Fake nothing, not a fake diamond, not a fake nothing.
You know what? It's kind of rough because most of us have fake something. If it's lashes, if it's hair, if it's it's something. Mary says they're 11 years apart. She probably felt threatened by how young she is. That was another thing. Tonight, it was a lot going on tonight. In tonight's episode, I think they're about 10 years apart, because the Janelle is 41 and the other young lady was like 30, barely 30. I think she was 30. So huh?
I think she's just mean. I think she thinks that she's a bad chick and she can throw stuff out. My opinion, everybody's entitled. The energy that I was getting from her is like, I run this, and she thinks she's gonna walk all over that little girl.
Yeah, she came in with that black on and said, "Hello, black people." I said, "Oh, okay." She was
the queen has arrived. Mother is here.
Hey, Druzy, if you guys have questions for Shay, I swear there's not one time we have done a Ready to Love conversation where somebody has not mentioned your name or not said that they loved, you and of course Mike together on the show. So if you guys have questions for Shay, please drop them in the chat. We're going to talk a little bit more about Ready to Love because we didn't recap the first episode. So Shay, I want to ask you this. Yeah. Brandon was the first guy to go home before Habibi, right? Brandon with the kids. So, D said no season can ever top season 1. I actually agree.
Oh, come on, D.
It was so authentic. At this point, we feel like people come ready. They come ready. They come trying to to I don't think they come ready for love. They come ready for trying to be popular, ready to get their brand up. But all right, Brandon came on the show, 6 months divorced. He had married his ex-wife twice, and they have 4 children.
They're about to have 6. Brandon ain't done yet.
So that's what I was going to ask you. Do you think that was a red flag for you?
What? That was 6 flags. Red flags. You almost made me say something when it showed up on the show 6 months and you've been married twice to the same woman.
With 4 kids. 4 kids is a lot of kids. And
playing.
If you 6-month divorce, I've been divorced before. 6 months is not enough time. You are still probably sleeping with your ex. There's no possible way.
It sounds like Brandon was trying to make her jealous. She probably left him.
That part.
And Brandon was probably trying to make her jealous to get her back.
Yeah, that part. Brandon was definitely trying to make her jealous. Druzy says, how did he apply and get selected within 6 months of divorce? You know what the crazy thing to me was? He said that every time he sat down to talk to somebody, he brought up the fact, have you been married? Yes. He was real upfront with it. So I was like, does he not know that this is not good? Like, nobody wants to be with somebody's.
That Negro was like, she in the car with the kids. I got in the minivan with the kids. When I get out of here, they're waiting for me in the parking lot.
Bless it. I'm like, was he for real, or were they just put him on the show to, like,
as a mole?
Mary said he teared up when he was named in the bottom 2. What was that about?
No, he said he teared up. Did you see a tear?
I didn't see a tear, but I feel like what you said is true. He came on the show probably to make her jealous and thinking, because sometimes you think that you're hotter than you are.
Mm-hmm. He was cute.
Even though he was cute, but women, and there are some women that would deal with him, but most women are going to look at somebody that's been divorced 6 months and has 4 kids as a liability at some point. Like, not saying that you can't move on. That's just not enough time. Keep it to yourself. Heal. Do some work. Don't do that.
He probably not going to get her back now because she's going to be like, you've been on that show and none of them wanted you. Got eliminated on the first episode.
That is true. That probably was not. That did not make her jealous at all. She was like, I told you. I told
her ammunition.
Like, he need to go back and work that out. You got 4 children. That child support is going to be serious. You need to go home and work that out. Y'all need to try for time number 3. But you're right. She probably left. He probably was doing too much.
It gotta be.
She probably left him. Bless his heart. Bless his heart. All right, let's talk about the guy that is the sex dominant, the erotic author that is first episode at the mixer. He's telling everybody that he's an erotic author. For those of you who have not read erotic literature before, basically, it's like porn. Like old girl said tonight, it's like 50 Shades of Grey. And he said that he likes to dominate. So that's a whole lot to take on. When you don't know, like, I don't even know you, and you're telling me from the jump that you're going to be into some stuff that I may or may not be cool with. Do you think that Ready to Love was the right forum for him to talk about that from the jump?
Girl, like he don't have no safe words. You just get in there and you just be like, help me, please.
I ain't gonna lie. I went out on a date with a guy when I first, oh my God, I had a horrible dating experience in Atlanta. Just a bunch of
I want to hear it.
Boy, a bunch of bad stories. But I went on a date with this guy. He was cute. I loved the date. We went to this really nice show, this theater show, went to dinner. And he told me that, if we had sex, he thought that we should have a safety word.
Is this the first date?
No, this was like the second date, but that was the last date because that scared me. I was like, a safety word? Like, what are you going to be doing to me that I would need a safety word? Does that mean that
out?
Does that mean that you won't know that I'm hurt? Like you No, I didn't go out with him again.
No.
I didn't go out.
Which brings me to this guy. His whole thing was, you gonna like it too if you're with me. What?
Nobody said nobody, but one girl, unique is intrigued. So, and that's okay. It's okay if you're intrigued, but I just think again at the first mixer,
It's a bit much.
it's a bit much.
It's a bit much. And then they had some little snippets of him at his house with the throne and stuff. I don't know.
No, it's he has a dungeon. He said that he has a sex dungeon.
Is it in his living room or is it? It looked
I
like
don't
it was
know
in
where
his
it's
living
at,
room.
but he said he has a sex dungeon, and I mean,
Yeah, that's why I said I don't think anybody is on here looking for love. I think they just, to me, they looking for lust. Like, dang, can we have a little conversation before you bring out the handcuffs and a ball gag?
I don't want a ball gag. I'm leaving if I see a ball gag. If I dated a guy and I saw one at a ball gag at his house, I'm leaving. I'm
And
not.
he said, you're gonna participate.
I'm
Whatever you gonna participate. It ain't whether you like it or not, you participate.
I am out. But I mean, to each his own. I just feel like that's a lot to introduce initially. Somebody come on the show. If you have children, I don't want my kids seeing, like, I don't necessarily need to be talking about the fact that you're into that. Like, it's just every time, everything is not for everybody at that time. So I feel like he could have introduced it, but I also feel like it's good for the show. It's entertaining. You see, Tommy was like, we're gonna talk more about that later. It's
Again, he's not
entertaining.
looking for a wife.
No.
You can't no, you're not looking for a wife and somebody to, grow your life with. He's looking for somebody to tie up and put in his trunk. I don't know what that's about. Dang.
All right,
What
let's
else did
talk
you
about
point
it.
out?
Was so much in these two episodes. Let's talk about the fact that the young lady, Unique, I believe it was, said on the date with Red, she said that she thought that his job, he's a DJ and a comedian. She said that she felt like it was a thought job, and he was extremely, extremely offended. What do you guys think about that? Do you feel like that's something you should tell somebody if that is their job?
I feel like she was being cheeky and cute, and then when it came back to her, she didn't like it.
Yeah,
And
like,
and that is one of the golden rules. You got to say to other people how you want to be treated.
yeah,
Like, when it came back her way, she was so offended. What did you think?
yeah,
So, I mean, I guess are in Atlanta, and we know people who have whole careers being a DJ. I mean, they have a really good life
right.
as a DJ, and that's their profession. So it's respected in a different way. So I don't know they're in Dallas, right?
You're in Dallas, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if the Dallas scene is seeing that as a real profession. But
Dallas is kind of popping. I mean, it's a big enough city to where, depending on the type of gigs that you're getting, you could do corporate DJ stuff. I don't know what he does, but I will say this. I know that when I was dating, I initially I dated personal trainers,
mm,
ex-athletes, and people that were even a bodybuilder, and
I
all
don't
and
know if you got a physique type.
it was, and it did not work out for me well, because I would say those jobs, I would never tell somebody I think their job is a thought job, but a lot of those jobs were not. If you're a personal trainer and you fine and you training women, you ain't making no money.
Well, maybe that's something she should have asked. Like, if you're a D, she didn't ask the question. She didn't do the homework. Again, that's jumping the gun and judging somebody before you get to know them. Because obviously, he's not missing any meals, and he seems to be doing pretty good.
I
So
mean, I think she just wasn't attracted to him, and I think sometimes when women aren't attracted to a man, they are not careful about their words. Like, you got to still treat people with respect, because, like you said, she didn't like it when it came back to her. Absolute Treasure says, personally, I'm staying away from DJs. personal trainers and entrepreneurs until proven. I ain't mad at.
Well, hold on. I'm an entrepreneur. So
I am too. But you and I both know a lot of entrepreneurs.
yeah, Atlanta entrepreneurs are very different.
I think Absolute Treasure may be familiar with the kind of entrepreneurs
But
that
real
I'm not gonna lie.
talk,
It's a red flag it was a red flag for me too, because I don't feel like two entrepreneurs are good together.
yeah,
feel
I
like
wouldn't be
somebody should
comfortable
gotta
with a
be consistent.
DJ.
But I don't feel like she should have said it was a thought job. That it just means that's not for you, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. No, I wouldn't I wouldn't date a DJ. I would have to understand the ins and outs. It wouldn't be stable enough for me, you know.
Well, but I will say this. I did date a DJ that you and I both know, and he did his
Yes.
is stable. It's very
I
stable.
would have to see more.
Yeah,
Like I know they were booked to 2050. You
right.
know, I understand. I understand. I would have to understand more. But
Yeah.
to me, that's not like you're DJing house parties.
No. This guy that we know, he gets like 20 grand a
Yeah,
pop.
he's next level DJ.
So, but some say you never know. You have to listen. But I just feel like she wasn't attracted to him, and she was just being, like you said, being snarky, and she didn't like it when it came back around. She didn't have to say it was a thought job.
No, no. Because she kept saying it, and I was like, "Is he a stripper?" That's why I missed him talking about what he actually did for a living, and it
Yeah.
kept coming up, and I was like, "He must be a male exotic dancer." And then I couldn't see him being a Chippendale
No,
Thunder from down under
no,
dancer.
that's not, he doesn't really, no, he doesn't give stripper vibes, but comedian, to me, when I think of comedian and a DJ, I think of a guy that's going to be around a lot of girls. I also will not date promoters.
Oh no, no. And he's a comedian, so is he doing stand up?
He's doing stand up.
Now, I have a friend that is a comedian
Hmm.
and he does a lot of writing. So it's multi-dimensional because even when he was saying that he was a comedian, I was like, well, how do you make your money? But as I got, as I mean, like
Yeah.
you're going to improv on Tuesday, how do they
Just
write
that
your
you pay
book?
your bills, right?
Yeah, but then I understood more, but they're from LA. So I understand how he works the circuit. He writes for a while and now he does a bunch of different things.
Yeah.
So I get it now. Yeah.
That's different, but you don't know what somebody's situation is. Like I said, when I first went out with that DJ, I was like, he has a lot. He's a very affluent young man, but it was because he's not doing parties. He's doing
Mhm.
huge events. Absolute Treasure said, I'm not familiar. I'm a proud soldier in the Army, but I've been watching YouTube and Ready to Love. That's enough to know better. Well, first of all, thank you for your service. My
Yes.
husband is a military vet, and I know how much you guys do. So thank you for that. And I do think people in the Army, you guys are used to very, very substantial, like that check comes, there's
The
no,
structure.
yeah, it's a lot of structure. And most people that are used to structure really don't do well in situations like that. So I get why you would be wary of someone that's an entrepreneur. But we know that there are a lot of entrepreneurs that are making it. It just depends on how your business is and what type of business person you are. But regardless, I don't think she should have called his job a thought job. That's going to be insulting. You shouldn't say something to somebody else that you wouldn't want them to say to you.
Right.
You know,
Exactly.
because even with her being, I believe she's a producer, a TV producer. Right? A lot of people don't see jobs like that as stable, and they're
And
not.
right now they're not because the writers strike. Nobody's eating in the entertainment industry
Mhm.
right now.
Yeah,
So
yeah, that's crazy. Another thing that came that came up tonight. My goodness, it was just so many different little pockets of things that I thought were interesting. So, um, there was again to 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 Quilla conversation she had with the guy when she was like, "Well, I tried to have a conversation with you, and you weren't receptive." And he was like, about the sex, they weren't compatible. I don't ever understand why females, especially men sometimes don't get it. But if a man isn't giving you energy, he's just not into you.
And let's move on.
Let's move on. Like, you can't get hurt about it. Everybody doesn't have to be attracted to you. Like, if he's not giving you energy, if you try to have a conversation with him and he doesn't give you energy back, then that's a key for you to move on.
No.
But she was upset because the guy didn't and that ain't gonna make, he's not gonna change his mind and be like, oh, since you're confronting me on it.
I think that makes it worse.
It does.
It makes it worse. And then they double down. I really don't like you.
Right.
Yeah, it makes it worse. So what's up with them talking about the guy who liked white girls?
That's another thing that they got into everything in the second episode. Okay, now this is Dallas. My viewers know that in Miami, that was a big thing. Like, they were saying a lot of these guys that were in Miami are not really into dating Black women. Mm-hmm. So I'm not sure what caused them to assume the guy, and I think he's cute. The football player. Do you all know his name? Leave his name in the comments. Why they said that? Thank you, Jay, the baker. I don't know why they said that he did not like Black women, except the clip that we saw where he was talking to Tequila, and he said he wasn't really attracted to any of the women there. I don't know if he felt if that was him telling the truth or he just wasn't attracted to her and he was trying to make her feel better.
Right. And then the other little girl, dang, I keep calling her a little girl. The other young lady, she was like, I feel like I'm the closest to that.
That was hilarious. I don't know what she was talking about.
I think she's saying her, because it didn't come out good.
It did not.
Because I'm like, baby, you chocolate.
I'm like, maybe she's saying that because she speaks very proper, but that's
her personality. Because isn't she like a cheerleader, like a Dallas Cowboy cheerleader?
But that doesn't. But they're a Black cheerleader.
Bad choice of words. Horrible choice of words. But I was looking at him on the dates with the other girl, which the one girl had the braid. I think she has such a pleasant smile.
She's I think she's beautiful. She's like one of my favorites.
Right. She's mine too. And happy eyes.
Yeah, just nice, pleasant. Hey, gun boss. My baby's on. Y'all say hi to my baby.
Hey, brother-in-law.
He done got on. But yeah, she said her personality was closest to a white girl. I found that very offensive, though. Aries is the girl that we're talking about. Just very pleasant. She's very pretty, but just a nice person.
If somebody called her an Oreo, she would go ballistic.
She would. And social media would be upset as well. But for her to say that about herself, that was just really strange to me.
Right.
I also felt like, but I do feel like every season there are men on the show that really aren't attracted to anybody. There have been guys that have told me after I interviewed them, after we go off the interview, well, Christal, I wasn't really attracted to anybody on there.
Wow.
So I don't know. I feel like it's two things. Tequila asked him who was he attracted to, and he said nobody. So he could have been trying to save face because he didn't like her, because he was really attracted to the girl. Now I'm saying little girl, young lady. She's adorable to me. She's one of my favorites as well. Lee, the one that she works out. She works. They went on a date. Yeah, she's adorable.
Yeah, Ashley from our season.
She did. Okay. And she's adorable, just a sweetheart, and has a good personality, but they seem like they have a lot of chemistry, you know? So yeah. I don't know that he isn't attracted to her. He has said several times that he was attracted to her because he liked her body and she's very in shape. So I don't know. I don't know that he meant it that way, but it also could be Dallas. I'm very familiar with Dallas. There are a lot of interracial couples in Dallas. There's, it's not necessary. It's definitely not in Atlanta. It's definitely different as far as the ratio of diversity is different there. But I just think it was weird for them to bring that up and trying to have him kicked off the show.
Right. He's not going anywhere. Let me tell you that right now. He's not going anywhere on the show. Good looking guy. He seems to be very mannerable and respectable. So I know if not anything, he's going to make it towards the end. Yeah, that's how I feel.
Well, he has a lot of girls that like him as well, because Lee, he has a good connection with her. We saw their date. And then also he and Aries were, really flirting when they were on the group date. So
Right.
he's got some good connections. But I think that the casting team for Ready to Love should be a little bit more specific, because we have seen in past times men that are on the show that really are not into Black women.
Okay, it's been a gap. It's been a gap for me because I watched season 1, 2, and 3, and I haven't watched so much the other seasons because to me, they just got downright mean.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
don't like the whole. There's no reason for you to be wanting to fight or even allow them to catch you on the cameras wanting to fight. And I think that because you think it's you housewives, it's not going to secure you for a Ready to Love six
spinoff.
season deal. It's not.
Mhm.
It's going to have people looking at you funny. So
Yeah.
I missed what episode did they have, or what season did they have it where it was all about he don't like, and you said Miami,
Mm-hmm.
and what
And
other
then,
season?
and in DC, actually in DC, a girl mushed a guy in the face, like got mad at him because he decided that he liked somebody else, and she went off on him.
And
So
she put her hands on him?
yeah,
Wow.
yeah,
They aired it?
yeah. Well, they didn't. They showed her coming up to him, and then he said, he talked about it. The producers made her leave, but she was not kicked off the show, and it was a whole thing. So she stayed on the show. But yeah, she did. She like you know.
Honey, I don't know how this is gonna turn out. We on episode 2, and they already talking about getting it in. They're not gonna make it to no resort or anything, are they?
Well, they're doing a brunch the next episode. I'm not sure, but I
Somebody
feel
gonna
like that's
tell me by episode 5.
okay. One more thing, and then I want you guys to please ask questions. The Nigerian guy he's a cutie pie too. He mentioned that his family has arranged marriages. Now, first of all, that told me that he comes from some money, because the fact that his mother and father were in arranged marriage, his brother and some of his other siblings are in arranged marriages, and his parents they tried to put
They
him in an
said him
arranged.
twin, Sonny. They said pick one or both. It don't matter.
I said, he's Hakeem. He's Prince Hakeem. He's like,
Look, he has his own money.
I said, but that would be a little concerning to me, because not because of the fact that they're picking arranged marriages, but obviously he comes from a very traditional Nigerian family, and I don't know. That seems like that could be difficult, for
Let
him.
me tell you, them Nigerians don't play.
No,
Miss D, who next door to me at the shop, if she don't like you, she don't like you, and
yeah.
that's the end of it. She did try to marry me off to all of her sons.
She done tried to arrange that marriage.
Yes,
I
yes.
don't know. For me that would be a bit of a red flag, just because I don't know. It's obvious that he doesn't want an arranged marriage, but once you get married to him or once you're dating him,
What you're
you
up
know,
against.
yeah, then what? Are they
Power
going
of that family, man. If they don't like you,
that's going to be a whole problem.
Christmas holidays and birthdays will be the worst.
And whatever else they have other traditions and stuff like that, that could be rough.
Right.
Keisha said about the other season, she pushed his nose with her finger.
Wow.
Also, he was a cheater. I'm sure he was a cheater. However, she shouldn't have touched him. Like, you don't put your hands on people, because you all know good and well, you put your finger on a man's face and push it. If the cameras aren't there, you don't know what's going to happen. Like, you don't know what that response, like
In real life, it
in
would be
real.
a whole different scenario.
Now, he said that he was a former police officer, so he was like, he knew how to keep himself calm. But some people don't like people touching them in the face. Like, that's not something that you should just do unless you expect to get retaliation. So I thought that was, but that was a whole nother season, and that.
Things get to going and people get crazy.
Yeah, you don't Put your hand in a man's face. But yeah, it's going to be an interesting season. I do think that Habibi needed to go home.
Habibi.
Habibi needed to go. He needed to go. He needed to go.
He needed to go. What
He,
they save him for? I guess what, somebody with 4 kids, and that's how he got to stay.
That's how he got. That's how he got to stay the first time, because of the 4 kids and the wife in the car out waiting, like you said.
With the 4 kids in the minivan. We'll be right there. Hold on. Let me finish this interview.
I feel like that's the only reason Habibi got to stay the first time. Habibi was also very young. He was like 31.
Okay, Habibi gave me like 20-some-year-old vibes. I'm excited that I got a beard. Because his little bands was coming up. They was rolling up like a bad wig.
It wasn't. He wasn't wearing it appropriately. But, you know, I guess I feel like he came on trying to have a personality for TV. It wasn't really like for real, for real. Anybody that you think, I actually like the guy that's the athlete and Lee. I think they're cute together. I think when they're walking out on their date, I think they look cute together. I don't know. We're too early in to know who else could possibly be a match.
What you think about the dude with the dreads? Like when he's on camera talking, but those one-on-one interviews, he was rough.
Yeah, but the ladies seem attracted to him. They seem attracted to him. He said he was really into Janelle on the first date. The young lady with the short hair that went on the date with Habibi, and he said her mama wasn't shit, which was crazy. But she's an interesting personality. I think that she's gonna have. She's definitely. If you notice when she was talking with Habibi, she was like, "If I was a man, my penis would have went down." I was like, "Well, that's weird. That's a weird thing to say. That's strange."
Yeah, I think she has fly hair. She's a fly dresser, but
yeah,
she is okay. So I would put her and Ashima, if they were doppelgangers.
Yeah,
her and Ashima could be sisters.
That type personality.
Yes.
Yeah.
But she whoa, she yeah. So what were you asking me about somebody else?
Well, no, I'm saying, do you see any couples? Like, do you see anybody that you really want to see? We like Aries. I would love to see her, really have a good match, because I feel like for right now, she seems like she has just really good energy and positive light.
Yeah, I like her, but I don't see who I would put her with.
Mm-hmm.
The Nigerian guy, he was very easygoing and nice.
Yeah. Now she has 2 kids though.
She got 2 kids.
That's
not gonna make it in a Nigerian family. Dang. Yeah, I don't know. I like the 2 fitness people together, because it seems like that would be, or the Dallas Cowboy young lady
cheerleader.
She would be good for the football player. I just don't. The DJ guy, I just couldn't pair him up with anybody.
I don't think it's gonna, and I don't really feel like he and Janelle would really. I know they're saying each other are a match, but I just don't really see that.
Janelle is the one with the long hair.
She's the one with the big hair that said the girl.
See her. I see her using him as a pawn. For whatever reason.
Yeah, I definitely don't.
I can't see her having real interest in him.
Me either.
At all.
And he kind of has. I don't even see the other girl, like, I don't know. Because I feel like he's a little bit. He's showing us some insecurities, because even how he responded to. There was a couple of comments made that he responded to strangely, aside from the thought job. Because to me, the first episode, he said, "I'm not going to talk to her anymore because she said I have a thought job." And then he was like, "Well, I'm going to give her another chance, but I didn't like it." If you don't like it, just leave people alone. You know what I mean? Just keep it moving. He was like, "I'm not sure people are going to," he just seems like he's not 100% sure of himself.
You know what that sounds like to me? Sounds like the producers are saying, you better like somebody or you're on your way home. You better show interest. That's what it sounds like to me. You better show interest in somebody, because bro, you going home next episode.
Yeah. Why would he pick the young girl like that? And he was on a 3-way date. I don't know that he picked the young girl. I think that they both, the ladies both picked him. Another thing, he said that he liked a woman to show him that she was into him. That's why I said I feel like he doesn't really like, a man shouldn't need all of that. Like, well, let me not say that. That sounds bad. He seems like he wants the woman to chase him.
That seems like a month into a date when somebody starts showing you. Until then, it's mutual playing ground.
Right.
Man is, and that's the problem, I think. The man, we're not letting men pursue.
I agree.
And oh, this might sound real harsh. It's really feminine for you to say, I want the woman to chase me. No, that's not how it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
And then as you gain her confidence, then she will
open up.
Yes, but all of this, again, that's manipulation and setting people up to compete for you.
Yeah.
No, sir.
That's true. People agree with you on that. I definitely don't. I know for me, I'm not into a man that, wants a woman to chase him. I like a man that knows what he wants. Because how do you expect me to, allow, for you to be the head of the relationship if you starting off with me being the head? I'm gonna keep that position. It's not gonna switch back over. I'm not gonna chase you and then be like, okay, here you go. Now you can lead the relationship. No.
I mean, I ain't chasing no man. That's not happening.
My feet just don't work. It just don't work like
that. I don't do well running in heels.
Yeah, Miss View says a lot of men do that out of the fear of rejection. I agree with you. I agree with you 100%. But if you have a fear of rejection, you probably shouldn't be on this type of show.
You need to go get some therapy.
It's not going to bode well for you. I'm interested to see how this goes because it's definitely going to be entertaining. I don't know.
It's going to be a shit show.
I feel like we haven't really seen any couples really truly work. Maybe Joy and Clifton because they're engaged.
Okay. I mean, come on, we got Reva.
Right, Reva and Mario. I forgot about that. But see, they did not get together on the show. They got together after the show. He left the show with somebody else, but I think
no, they was on a reunion and
they did come back to the reunion together.
Yeah, he was on a reunion. Who else was together?
I do like Reva and Mario together. I
Simone, think, it was all good a week ago. Simone and
Rashid.
If Rashid would have kept his finances straight, he would have Simone to this day.
Who's Casey? Who's married for now? You talking about Joy and Clifton? Joy and Clifton are married. Yeah, okay.
They got married.
Yeah, Well, okay. They didn't. I think they can't share it because Love and Marriage DC hasn't come back out yet.
Oh, Casey, you done told the business.
Well, I think people knew that they were married.
Alert.
They can't share it yet because when I asked them, they kind of were like, they were kind of tongue in cheek about it when they were on the show. Hazel, not Hazel, Cornelius, and it's not Hazel, is it? No, not Hazel. Cornelius and what's the girl's name? It's not Hazel, but it's something. It's something.
These are people on Ready to Love.
These are people on Ready to Love that are together. Hold on. It's not Hazel. It's oh my God, I think her name.
I've seen a couple people all booed up.
Camille, yeah, Camille and Cornelius.
Is that Miami?
Camille and Cornelius were DC.
Okay, and then I saw some couples Miami,
Swayze and Cadian.
Okay.
Yep.
We got a few people.
Yep.
Yeah, it's a few people.
Who ended it? Swayze and Cadian ended it again? They had ended it before, but okay. Yeah, Camille and Cornelius. Now, Camille and Cornelius, we didn't really see. We saw them a little bit on the show, but when he left, she left too. So, but I talked to Camille. They're very happy together. So there are some that work. Now, Shay, I got to put you on the spot.
Oh God, here we go.
I got to because I swear everybody that ever comes on this channel always mentions you and Mike. So, And people have asked, are you guys still together? Like they don't see that you guys are not. So I just want you to share with the people, in case people are not up to speed, what happened with you and Mike and what you've been up to since the show.
He left me for that girl on Wayne,
Country Wayne's
Wayne show. No. No, it's just I think we were in two different spaces in our life, right? Pressures from the show on what it's supposed to be. I think that's a lot. You people talk stuff on camera, but when it comes down to it, and everybody's like, "Hey, we want a baby. You promised us a baby. Get to getting the baby right now." I mean, everywhere we went, people are like, "Yeah, you pregnant yet? You got that baby? Where's that baby?" I think sometimes it starts to be overwhelming for a person when you put that out there. And so we just decided more or less to be friends. It's so much pressure. We were going in two different directions. I think where my career was amping up and getting going, my lifestyle is a little bit more settled and structured than his. And but we are very good friends. I talked to his sister. I talked to Mike. I can call him right now. It's not one of those things that it was a knockdown, drag out. It's just like, hey, this isn't for me. I mean, it wasn't going to work for him. And that was something that he wasn't comfortable in moving forward with. And I'm not going to chase anybody. I'm not going to twist and contort and manipulate and try to hold on for the cameras or for the happiness of other people. Mm-hmm. So I love him as a person, and maybe my personality may be too strong. Maybe in people's head, they build up expectations of what they think that I'm going to demand or ask. Sometimes you can kill something before it even get going good.
Yeah.
So, and then it takes, it was what we were 10 weeks. 10 weeks is 2.5 months of getting to know each other. So it wasn't anything it wasn't left off on a sour note.
Yeah.
And you never know what, he didn't hurt me and I didn't hurt him. So you never know what life brings you back around. But I think Mike is a really nice guy. And for right now, being a friend is where he will remain for this moment.
Well, Mary asked, is Shay still single?
I am having, let me tell you something. I am having a wonderful time being single. If I would have known now, the things that I know now, back when I was younger, boy.
Like what do you wish? Give me 3 things that you know now that you wish you would have known, like after you graduated college.
You want me to be raw and real?
Please do. Please do.
Sit on that thing. Sit on it. You can get so much more when you don't give up the nookie. And sometimes we always be feeling like, if I don't show him that I really like him, he's gonna lose interest. Mm-hmm. The play is he's gonna lose interest either way if he's not genuine. You could give it up the first day, or you could give it up 3 years after. If that was his intent, was his intent. Period.
Yes.
So I have received so much guilt-free because I'm not sleeping with anybody, so I can do what I want. I can go on dinner dates and all kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. And I would vet situations more. Okay. I would slow down. Now I listen more to what people say, and I don't feel bad about putting it in reverse. Yeah. So if I'm not sleeping with anybody, I'm not guilted into, dang, I can't go out. I'd be at dinner and saw somebody that I went on a date with 3 weeks ago. Mm-hmm. Hey, you know what I'm saying? You ain't getting none. He ain't getting none. Ain't nobody getting none. But it's just, the pressure. You don't have to worry about the pressure so much. And I'm not being a prude.
Right.
I just feel like until I'm ready, and then there's somebody that I really like, I get to see all facets of people. So just not being in a rush. That's 1, 2. And the third one, I said, listen carefully, I would sit on it a lot longer, and I would have a friend
Mm.
that can see things that I don't see. The problem is we that has your good intentions at heart,
Yeah.
right? Not a
Yeah.
friend that's jealous. I'm talking about a friend that you can really bounce things off of and say, "Hey, friend, what do you think?" And they'll be like, "Hey, look, when I talked to them, they wasn't really, you know."
Mm-hmm.
Because sometimes it just being us, we plow through it and we don't get it, or it's one sided for
Yep.
us.
Yep.
Now, having a good friend, I might be like, "What you think?"
Yeah. But it has to be somebody that I think, and I've learned this too, because I know, I could tell you, like, being in a relationship is scary, especially scary at this point in time, the way
Woo.
things are. So it's important to have friends that are not somebody that you trust, that is not giving you advice based on what's going on in their life,
And
right?
they're hurt. Yeah.
So if a friend, if a guy is into you, and the friend that you're talking to just broke up with her dude, I don't need her to be so immature that she's like, girl, leave him alone. Because I need somebody that's really able to be mature and
Hmm.
truly has my best interest at heart. And a lot of times, I don't think women are doing it on purpose, but we just don't give each other wise counsel, you know?
They
So,
all ain't nothing. They just trash. You'd be like, just went out on a couple dates. I
right,
just, they just take your money and they
right.
went off with your sister, and you be like, "Hey, you telling me what happened to you?"
And it's easy to get group think to where you have a whole lot of girlfriends that are talking negative. It's easy to be like,
Too many opinions in the pot will confuse you.
yeah.
So, to all the ladies out there, get you a friend that writes a book. I'm
Shall I
not
pull it
saying,
up?
I'm
Where's
not,
my book?
I'm
Hold
not,
on,
their
hold
book
on.
may be titled Dear Alpha Female.
Yes, yes.
That's
Because but you know what? That's so funny, because I wanted to ask you that too, because I feel like, and you're single, so you can do that. But one of the things that I see this season, every girl is like, I'm into my career. I'm all about my career. I'm all about my career. And it's like that, when we're all about our career,
uh-huh.
you're not really making space for something else. And I had to learn that. And I'm still learning that. Still
Mhm.
learning that. That if you are so focused, I was talking to one of my friends the other day, and she was saying, Christal, she called me, we were talking business, and then she said, and can you please give me that group that you were in, that you met your husband? And I said, I will give it to you. And I said,
Is that what, presto? You gonna get a husband like yours?
no,
No, honey.
but I told her, you have to make space for something if you want it. And if you don't want, if you want to truly have love in your life, you can't start out by saying, because what she said was, well, he has to understand that I work all the time. We on the wrong page. Like, because if you really are ready
Right.
for that, you have to be able to say, you know what? I have to make space in my house, in my soul for that. And if you don't have space, you're not ready. And I
So people do not. One thing that I've learned about our culture and our people is there is no balance.
right,
It's no balance. It's always extreme. If we get plastic surgery, we get in the lips, the butt, the breasts, the arms, the thighs,
right,
the cankles, everything. We get in every. There is no balance. If we gonna work, we gonna work 24/7. We
yeah,
have no balance in our community. It's
yeah,
always an extreme on the spectrum, and
yeah,
we don't know how to balance the business and saying. And I'm guilty of it, because I'll go hard. I'll be there till 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning.
yeah,
But I also need to meet somebody that I'll be like, let me wrap this up and put a bow on it so I could go over there and hang out with my boo.
yeah.
Um, there's just no balance, and learning balance along with boundaries,
Mm-hmm.
um, I think are the key.
Yeah,
So, and it's always extreme. It's like, I don't need nobody. We all need somebody,
right.
and throwing that out, I don't need no man, and I don't need this, and I don't need that. No, that's not true.
It's
That's
not
not
true,
true.
but I think what Casey said is because that's all they have. I think that is true. For me, I'll speak for myself. When I was single for a long time, and my work and my children, that was all I focused on. But when I went on Iyanla, and she so bluntly, shared with me that was my issue. So if all you have, and I was telling my girlfriend that because she was like, well, he has to learn how to work around my schedule. That's not how things work. That's not how things work. And so it is your job to fix you. And if you only have work, you're not balanced. So
Right.
that's not somebody else's job to come in and squeeze around what you're doing. Like that's not realistic.
Right.
It is not. So you have to say, and I'm not saying that you have to be like, slack off, because I love the fact that, especially us women of color, we are so committed and we are so ambitious, and there's nothing wrong with that. But just like for me, Shay, this, and I'm fine sharing this. I'm going through some health issues, right? So I have to change my diet. I can't say, oh, well, I'm going to keep eating like I want to eat and my blood pressure needs to go down.
Work around you.
Yeah, that's not how it works. I have to make changes on me. So it's the same thing. You can't say, well, if I want a man to come in my life and I want love and I want this, it has to work around me. Nothing does that. Nothing works around you. You have to fix yourself if you want something different. Now, if you don't want something different and you want a man that's going to try to squeeze in your holes, then you're probably not going to get a whole man. You're probably going to get somebody that just wants to use you or just wants to get some,
Or
and this
just
is serious.
squeezing your holes, like you said.
Yeah,
And that's it. And then they go spend some quality time with somebody else.
absolutely. That's true.
Yeah.
I had a friend tell me, and this was so cold. It's a friend of mine that's a guy, and he one of those very blunt guys, but he was like, Christal, when you meet a guy, because I would go on dates. And I would just be like, well, I got work to do. Work comes first. He said, well, then you need to be somebody's side chick, because that's not like, if you only have time for him after work, I'd be canceling dates, and I would get angry if a guy didn't understand why I had to cancel. And I would cancel
Mhm.
like, well, I don't have time for that. He should understand. He said, well, you should just be a side chick because you're not really trying to give
Damn.
somebody the type of, and I thought that was cold, but then I thought about it. He was absolutely right. And I know so many women that are successful in business and are very unsuccessful in love and end up side chicks, end up dealing with different things, and you wonder why. Well, it's because you're not willing. You feel like somebody has to fit into your program. That's not what they're going to do.
Mhm.
Another woman is going to give them that time.
Right. It's balance. And I don't think go overboard too and just be somebody's flunky, you
Yeah.
know.
No, 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 absolutely. I don't think a good man is going to want you to be a flunky, but I do think that we're not, like you said, there's a lot of imbalance. And I think
Mhm.
women are more imbalanced than men, because men can work and they cut off work and they go do what they want to do.
Yeah. They be
Women,
like, it'll be there when I get back.
yeah, they compartmentalize. I'm telling you, my husband will work all day. When he's done, I be like, he is not in the mindset of work in the house at all. It's over. It's
Hmm.
over. But for me, I'm always thinking about work. Always, always. And that's not just us, it's other couples, other friends that we have. The woman is like, especially if you're an entrepreneur, we don't have that, we don't set boundaries, because women are just more nurturing. We take stuff, and we're not able to compartmentalize when, okay, this is what I do for my job, this is what I do for fun, I'm important too. A lot of women end up getting way too much into the man and not having their own. Like, women just don't set boundaries as much as they need to.
Right. And balance.
Yeah.
Yep.
So let me ask you this, and thank you, Edna, for that tip about Moringa 28. I definitely will try that. We'll look into that. You do have to know how to shift. I also think you have to know what you want so you don't miss it,
Right.
if it comes to you. What have you learned? Did you learn anything about what is important to you on the show? I mean, you were lucky enough you and Mike had this really beautiful it was beautiful to watch. It didn't work out. But you both were attracted to each other. There both was synergy there.
Hmm.
You learn anything about what's important to you in a partner, what you want in a partner in the future from that situation, from that experience?
For me, laughter and humor is a big deal, alongside with, I want a person that you don't have to have all the money in the world. I want you to be able to sustain and take care of yourself first and foremost. I mean, anytime we're in an airplane and they tell you safety wise, secure yourself first and then you can help the other people. What's up, Mom? Help the other people around you. So for me, it's being able to look over and see somebody that takes care of themselves, financially, spiritually, mentally, and then in that process, you can help somebody else. So you can be a good partner to somebody else. I learned something about myself. I found in the end when things weren't going right between Mike and myself, I, I I no longer, as a woman, sometimes we do things to manipulate a situation to bad. That's what I didn't want to do. You
Mm-hmm.
know, I want a person that you don't have to be a Bible thumper,
Yeah.
but you need to have some type of relationship with God. And
Mm-hmm.
that's being able to spiritually know right from wrong, having empathy and sympathy for people, and just being a good human. So,
Mm-hmm.
and I want you to, I want something good to look at in the morning too. I
Amen.
feel like I'm not a bad person to roll over and look at, and I feel like that should be the same. So I'm not settling.
Right.
That's what I'm not gonna do. So I learned a lot about myself, and the fact that the show makes you slow down from my
Mhm.
everyday ripping and running. There were organized events, there were things that I don't normally do, which
Right.
I recognize I need to do.
Mm-hmm.
You need to stop and have dinner. You need to stop and put the phone down and have a real conversation with somebody.
Yeah.
You need laughter. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
that's the one thing that I loved about Mike and our relationship. We
Yeah.
would go back and forth and we would laugh till tears roll down our eyes.
Yeah.
And that's the one thing that I really did appreciate.
Yeah, that's beautiful. I can't talk too much about that because then I'll be like, well, can they please get back together? Can we work it out? I don't want to do that. So let me move on.
No, it.
Let me ask you this because we've talked about this and I talk with a lot of people from Ready to Love about this. And I think that people don't always look at this side of it when they're asking you guys what's going on. Did you feel pressure when the relationship didn't work? Because there were so many people online that were rooting for you guys. Did the two of you all feel pressure and did you feel disappointed to not just the relationship didn't work for you, but also what was it like having to share that with people when they kept asking what's going on, what's going on with you and Mike, what's going on, why don't we see you guys together? How did that feel and how did you deal with that?
Yeah, you go into a whole panic. I say this all the time to you. I feel like a lot of these people on reality shows need therapy, man, because you build up to this expectation. Now you have, just imagine, if you will, you go to a family reunion with a boyfriend, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then the next year, you don't show up with the boyfriend anymore to the family reunion. You're going to have a couple people asking you, what happened to that fella you was with? Now, just imagine thousands and thousands of people asking you every day, all day long, what's going on, what happened. Even to this day, people still tag and say stuff in the comments to Mike and say stuff for me. So
Yeah.
you find yourself going into this panic like, ah, what what do I do? And am I gonna look like somebody didn't want me? And people going, people were coming at me saying I was too strong and trying to defend that. It becomes a nonstop harassment.
Yeah.
So you don't, and the other flip side is if you're together, people are putting their expectations,
Yeah.
strangers, on
Mm-hmm.
where they think y'all should be. Like,
Yeah.
how many times as kid people be like, what's going on with you and that fella? Y'all girlfriend and boyfriend yet? And then soon as y'all become girlfriend and boyfriend, well, when is he gonna propose?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then it goes from when y'all propose to when y'all get
Yeah.
married.
Yeah. When you don't have a baby.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like it's like bam, bam. It's so much outside pressure in your everyday life, and
Mm-hmm.
then put a camera on it and invite hundreds of thousands of people in. It's just, I'm telling you, everybody on these reality shows, whether it's our show or other shows, they need some therapy.
Yeah.
Ooh,
That's real. I want to thank you, Absolute Treasure, for that comment about the channel. I really do this channel because I want people to get something. I feel like the experience that I went through, um, I love relationships. I love love. I want everybody to find love. And I just want, especially us women of color, I really do this for us because I want us to have some balance and have what we deserve. Like, I don't think we should be settling for things that we don't deserve, but we do have to believe that it's out there. And so these conversations really are for women. And so I thank you for saying that. Shay, keeping it right there, because you and I have talked about this a lot outside of just a relationship. Social media, we were talking to, they need good, wise, godly, wise counsel. Absolutely. I agree 100%, Edna. But we were talking to some children. You had some children yesterday at your shop.
Right.
And I mentioned social media and how I know it's hard for young people to balance social media because it's hard for adults to balance social media. But when you're on social media after being on a reality show, and not just are people looking at who are you dating now, did you find love, but also what are you driving, what are you wearing, where are you at, what are you looking like? Like, I can't, you know, I work with celebrities, but I've had the blessing of being able to see how that affects people, and how sometimes it's almost like you can create a prison for yourself because
Oh
you
yeah.
can't go anywhere. So I just want you to talk a little bit about how it felt from going to being on television once a week and everybody seeing you, and then your social media blowing up, people feeling like they knew you, and then coming off of that and coming down. What was that experience like for you, and what have you seen from other castmates or other people that have been on shows?
Man, I seen people spiral. I mean, and just hanging on to that attention that they got. At one point, there will be thousands of people in my live, and then you're lucky if you get 50 good people or 20 good people in your live.
Mm-hmm.
But, because everybody was rushing to see the bodies, roll in a train wreck after the show.
Right.
Um, it's, I remember my parents coming down after the show, and it's so sad to say, me and being so engaged with my social media, like I had to respond, I felt like I was being a jerk. Now that I look back on it, man, I should have been hanging out with my parents and having a good time. But
Mm-hmm.
I was just so into the responding and having something to say to people who weren't even, like, my parents are right there, right in front of me. I should be having a good time and
Present.
engaging with, yeah, I should be present. But instead, I'm going back and forth with somebody, some troll, or responding to somebody saying, "Oh, you're so beautiful," or feeling like you have it to say thank you. So just imagine if somebody calls you, or we all now feel like we have to pick up the phone if it rings.
Mm-hmm.
Or 20 years ago, man, if you wasn't near a landline, you wasn't getting a call back, or near a payphone.
Right.
Now it's like people feel like they're entitled to you because I seen you. I've had people say, "I seen you on Instagram active." I don't want to talk to you. I don't want to answer the phone.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to be a slave to this. So really, now with my social media, I might post hard if there's something to say, but I don't, now we got to be afraid that if we wear the same, somebody can go on your timeline and be like, "You wore that Tuesday of last month." It's
Mm-hmm.
I think it's getting away from the heart of who we are. You look around and people are just locked into the phone. They're not even engaged. And I'm guilty of it. I'll go down a TikTok rabbit hole or Instagram rabbit hole, and an hour later I'm going, shit, I should have been in bed an hour ago.
Yeah.
Um, and then it has you comparing yourself to other people's lives
Mm-hmm.
who could be miserable.
Yeah.
You thinking that trying to compete or keep up, or man, they got this type of house or this type of car.
Mm-hmm.
Don't even really know that it's not their house.
Right.
They're sleeping on somebody's couch. It's not their car. They're
Yeah.
posing in front of somebody's car.
Mm-hmm.
They create all this competition, and they got our kids, man. Our kids feeling like they're not enough.
Yeah.
I hate that.
I feel like reality shows are a big part of that, though. I interviewed Gloria Govan from Basketball Wives, where she used to be on Basketball Wives, and she was saying that there's so many people that are on those shows that are renting car or leasing cars or faking, trying to make things look like they're not buying,
Oh, we
not.
saw the girl on Basketball Wives. She credit card. Come on, when they broke it down, and she's stealing people like me and you our
Mhm.
credit, and like
Yeah.
big time on the show.
Yeah, because because on the show you have to have a certain call, you have to have labels, you have to have this, you have to have that, or at least that's what people think.
Keep up appearances.
Keep up appearances, and I think that's unfortunate. But I feel like when people get on these shows, because I see so many people, and I won't name any couples, but you guys
Toxic.
know they're constantly posting, trying to keep that energy up. And I wonder, does it get difficult? Even with Rashid and Simone, I wondered, all of us know what it feels like to go through a breakup. I don't want to, I would have been so depressed if I had to share why I'm breaking up, why my husband and I were getting divorced with us. Like that has got to suck.
And it puts you on defense, and it doesn't give you a chance to mend or repair a
Right,
relationship if there's any opportunity for one.
right.
Because you got people, and I noticed this between me and Mike. People were scurrying from my page to his page, and Shay said this, and Mike said this. They just kept rocking, swinging back and forth. And these people, when they finish with you after they 10-minute harassment, they
Mhm.
go and lay down. But you just got person after person after person after person
Yeah.
coming at you, man. It is horrible. Some people make, but I just don't see how people can keep it up and make money off of it. And it's anything substantial comes from it. The
Yeah.
followers do what? I mean, and we talked about, come on, like Kim Kardashian and all of them, you know, they got our kids thinking that you have to have a 23-inch waist and a 55-inch hip, and that's what, and then you willing to take a chance and go have surgery. I
Mhm.
mean, I thought DC Young Fly girlfriend was absolutely gorgeous.
She
Why
was.
are we doing any more?
Yeah, she was, and I and she was so young, like in her early 30s, and as a woman, your body changes so much.
Man,
It continues to change,
right?
but it's just it's really sad. But I wanted you to touch on that from someone that had been on the show. I want to ask you one more question because, as you guys know, my book Dear Alpha Female really is for professional women and ambitious women. I don't really have a conversation for women that aren't that way because that's not who I connect with. I don't have women in my circle that are the type of women that just want to sit at home and get a check from a man. So this is not the channel for them. There's nothing wrong with that, but this ain't the channel because it's just not. I don't relate to women like that. But for you being a successful business owner, Shay, and having a huge company that services people and services all different types of things from from doing setups for marketing events and then entertainment stuff and I mean just so much,
Mhm.
all types of entrepreneurs you service. How does that affect your dating life? Because I don't, I tell women that, the right man is not going to be intimidated, right? The right man is not going to have a problem with you being successful. You will not have to dim your light for the right man. But we do know there are a lot of wrong men that do have an issue with that. So what has been your experience having this business that is very successful? A guy can walk into your shop and see what's going on and see that you own it. What has been the experience of the response to that when you start dating and they see what you actually do and what you're actually, in charge of?
It's very complicated, and it's a very delicate situation because people see it's either they want to come in and take over, or it's how hard can it be? You're putting some letters on a shirt, Um, I'll get the Tarzan syndrome.
Hmm.
You girl, me boy, I know better than you because I got a PP.
Yeah.
And I have to constantly tell folks this is people are expecting professional results. When I take their money, they don't want to see their artwork drawn on a crayon on their shirt.
Yeah.
They're expecting absolute perfection.
Mm-hmm.
So it's equivalent to you take your car in to get the brakes changed, and the mechanic comes out and says, "Hey, me and my girlfriend, we got to spend some quality time together. Don't worry, it's her first time doing brakes, but you know how me and the missus, you'd be like, put my car back together." So it's I'm not as spontaneous as I once was when I worked for somebody else, because at this point I have to wrap up what I committed to do for Christal, or I committed to do for a customer, and then we can do some planning. What's difficult for me is actually letting go, because as an entrepreneur, you're scared. You're scared that if you don't take this opportunity,
Yeah.
then there will be no more. There's nobody coming in anymore to buy shirts. If I don't take this order, I won't have this opportunity again. Instead of, you can't receive if you keep your hand closed. And so I'm learning to say, I mean, I went to New Orleans. I haven't gone out of town in so long. And the fact that I was like, let's go. And I almost got scared because I was like, I don't want to go back.
But I wonder, like, you're right. There is the syndrome of guys saying, I've definitely experienced that too, with a guy coming in and thinking that he can tell you how to do your business.
Over.
But then on the other hand, I had a guy say to me one time, well, you don't need a guy. You don't need a man because, you got enough money. You don't really.
Yeah.
And I felt, I was like, well, he's not the right one, because if he would say something like that, that shows that you felt some kind of way. But I do feel like men need to feel like they can contribute to your life. Where do you think a relationship how do you think a relationship could fit in your life? What could a man offer you? You don't need the money. You don't need the connections. You don't need, I mean, there's really nothing that you need tangible from a man. What does Shay need from a relationship, the right one, at the right time? What would you be wanting from a partner?
I said your best times, and it gets difficult as you get older, because we always seen that auntie that was bad. You'd be like, she ain't got nobody.
Yeah.
It's because, as we get older, I think in your 20s and 30s, you can build something with somebody. It's the downside is there's a lot of immaturity in there, but the upside is you ain't got nothing, I ain't got nothing, we ain't got nothing together, and we gonna build something.
We figure it out, right?
The problem is people are lost in that young age, right? So as we get older, then you start picking people apart. So I think finding somebody that is compatible with you, and then you get older, you be like, I done built my wealth, she ain't gonna take it. I done built my wealth, he ain't gonna take it. So you just kind of find that middle ground where you can blend lives together.
Yeah.
And that's very important. Like, do you enjoy woodworking? I'm a person that loves shop stuff and doing stuff in my shop. So creating and painting and laughing and talking and having a good time. I can sit with a person while they're working and talking. Can you sit with me? Or are you going to feel like that I'm not a person that loves lounges and hanging out, but there is a compromise.
Yeah.
It can't be my way all the time, and it can't be your way all the time. So I think as we get older, we understand compromise more, not in a bad way, but if you want to watch some football, no, I'm not into it, but I definitely can sit with you while you're watching the game and maybe do some stuff on my computer. Yeah. You're not going to complain about me being on the computer because I'm right there. I don't enjoy football. Yeah. But I would love for us to have the same energy in the same room together.
I like that. I did that initially because I would be on my computer a lot when I first started dating my husband, but I'll be like, well, at least if I come and lay up under you on the computer while you're watching the game, as it usually was, then that gives us a compromise. And then we also did have things that we like to do together, you know what I mean? So that is really important. Well, I want to give you guys a chance to ask Shay before we get out of here. We've gone a little bit longer, but I wanted to have this conversation with my girl. But if you guys have any last minute questions for Shay, please put those in the chat. I will be back next Friday, and I think Tiffany from season one is going
Hey,
to join me next season. I mean next week. And then we'll also be having the Ready to Love interviews. Will start next Monday, so you guys definitely tune into that. Edna says she loves football. Well, Edna, you are a dream for a
a
guy
man's dream.
because I do go to the games, but
We go up for the activity. If we go into the game, the game is here. We girl, look what she got on. Oh, I like her jersey.
yeah, I'm like, that's
Girl,
cute. And I'm on my phone, and he's like, "You're not even watching the game." Hey, I'm here. I am here.
they got like concession stands. That's us.
That is us. Well, I want to thank you guys for hanging out. Ready to Love is interesting, but I think the reason that so many people watch it is because at the end of the day, there's a basic human need that we all have to be loved, whether it's from a significant other or just from real friends or family. We all need to be loved, and I think that's what keeps people tuning in, because they want to believe that there's that slim chance that people can actually find happiness and find love at the second time around or the third time around. And I think that's what's great about the show. I do hope that we see some realness this season, and that things will take a little bit of a turn from what we saw tonight. But it's entertaining. I was thoroughly
Tell
entertained.
that boy to invite us to the wedding, they third wedding, and let us know when they having their sixth child.
I do want to talk to Brandon. I'm gonna try to get Brandon in here so we can talk to him, because and thank you, Absolute Treasure, for reminding people to hit the like button. I always forget that, and you all forget to like the broadcast. So I'll take responsibility for forgetting to remind everybody that. But please make sure that you like and share this broadcast. We don't usually do Friday night, so this was something different, but we'll be back next Friday. But I think that this show is interesting, and we're locked in. We're locked into the entire season. Tommy, I'm interested to see if Tommy's going to make any other statements about Habibi, because he does try to make sure that the men are respecting the women. So I just feel like next episode he's going to address that, because you know he needs to. That shouldn't happen.
What else are they telling him for? He didn't jumped up and said, "Well, tell me the next time somebody say, well, what you gonna do?
What you gonna do about it,
What you gonna
Tommy?
do about it?"
Hold on. Edna has a question for you, Shay. She says, "Where do you go from here without pressure to answer that?" Shay, where do you go from here
Where
without
do
pressure?
you go from?
She got her Deborah Cox on.
I don't know. Edna, first of all, Edna got a bad picture up there. Edna look good.
Edna ain't playing no games.
Okay. That's smizing. Come on, Edna. Miss Perkins. And I don't know. I'm just enjoying life. And if the love of my life happens to be along the way, I'm okay either way. I'm not lonely. So if it happens, it does. I don't know. Maybe next month I'll be like, dang, I sure wish I had somebody. But right now, I am just enjoying life and enjoying people and having a fabulous time. Wow, like a great time. And then next
Well,
month I'll be married.
I'm gonna say for her that we believe that her love is coming. She's just enjoying the time until he gets here. Whenever he does, she's not missing any fun. She's having a great time, which is great. But we do believe he is on the way. Don't say that he may not. He may.
Okay, friend. You look. That gets vetted through you. You be like, eh.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Between you and Miss Eddie, y'all be like,
I have the questions. I have the questions. Yes, Edna said, "Thank you for the compliment." Well, that's true. That picture, you know what? It's one of the You guys have to check out the interview I did with Brandon and Christina Bowden from Love and Marriage Detroit. It is turned up.
See that.
It started with the couples already in issue.
They from the D.
But
from the D.
Brandon said that when he saw her picture, her profile picture, he had to hit on her. And he said he had to slide in a DM. So, Edna, I am certain with that picture, she's breaking some hearts in that picture. She says, God bless you for your continued success and prosperity.
Thank you.
That's sweet. That's sweet of her. Shay, anything you want to tell the people before you leave? I'm telling you, people always are asking about you. I think that number one, people really connected with you. You're obviously a beautiful person inside and out. But I think the way you carried yourself on the show definitely resonated and was something that a lot of people admired.
Oh
Right?
man, I love what the show brought me is so many good people. You were there for Pastor Michael and Dope Ministries. So out of the blessing, I just gained so many great people that are family. And that's the part I enjoy most, that people treated me like, hey, Shay, I remember you from the show. So,
Mhm.
and it's good. It was all good energy everywhere I go. I was in LA walking down the garment district a couple years ago, and this girl was like, Shay! And I was like, hey, she was like, you did great on the show.
Yeah.
And gave her a hug. So I appreciate that. I represent it for Black women. I represent it for my parents.
Mhm.
And I didn't come off the show looking crazy. It was great for me. Great experience. Okay, what I do want to talk about is this Bell Collective and this man So Gucci. Now, I just need to understand what's happening on there. What
Well,
is happening?
tonight's episode went crazy, and we may have to talk about that. Shay, you may have to,
Ma'am,
we may have to, because it went crazy to where the one y'all the Bell Collective tonight was
I
crazy, but
didn't know they get down like that in Mississippi.
oh, they
Okay,
do.
Mississippi.
Jackson is turned up. In case you didn't know, if you don't know now, you know Jackson
No, I know.
turned all the way up. So that's a whole nother thing. I do want to ask you, what was your parents' feedback on the show? Like, what did your mom say? And then, of course, what was your dad's thoughts on the show?
So my daddy, I don't know if he understood the concept, but my dad, they gonna have to pay me to be on that show. I need at least 100,000. I said, sir, the show isn't about you. Ain't nobody paying you 100,000. My mom came on there,
Yeah,
and people fell in love with my
yeah,
mom.
she was good.
So they feel good because Saginaw is such a small town. So everybody is like, I saw Shay on a show. And she doesn't have to go run and hide because they'd be like, saw Shay on the show and she swung on somebody. Um, not that that's not beyond me, but the fact that,
Not on OWN, not
not
on
at all.
Winfrey's network, right?
Yeah, I might catch you when the camera's off, but you're not. You won't be able to tell about it.
There will be no
There
witnesses.
will be no witnesses, but my parents were extremely proud. My mom, everything that she has instilled in me was reflected on the show. So that was great. And it was great to have her on the show and people
Yeah,
to see where I came,
relationship.
I came from. And being able to see Shason, man, Shason is proud too. My son is the absolute best human, like he is such a good person. So
Yeah.
to have my family walking around and be proud of what I put out there, that just makes my day. Because she was like, I was in the grocery store and somebody said, I seen that Shay. And I told him that's my daughter.
Oh, that's cute. Your mom is adorable. She's so cute.
Yeah, she a little hometown celebrity, and I like that I could give that to her.
Yeah.
So, that's awesome. So
Yeah.
yep. That's the best part of it.
Well, I thank you for coming on. Like I said, you have to come back. We may have to talk about the bells because after tonight's episode, I am shocked
I
at
am.
what
It's a
happened.
travesty, a shame, and a mockery. I
I
am
am
stunned.
shocked at. I'm telling you guys, Latrice and So Gucci done acted a fool on the bells.
They cannot be real. They
It
are not a real couple.
No, it is. So Gucci and JJ are real. I went to Jackson. I hung out with them, and JJ. So gosh darn it, he'll make you.
That dang it. That dang.
He will make you laugh, but the attitudes of the ladies tonight, I'm like, y'all gotta stop. Y'all gotta stop. Y'all gotta stop. This has to
All right.
stop.
To be continued.
To be continued. Well, Shay, again, thank you. Thank you guys for hanging out on a Friday night. On a Friday night where you could have been out doing anything else. I appreciate you guys hanging out for our live. Make sure that you like and share. And make sure you're subscribed if you're not already subscribed. I will be back on Sunday night. I'll be back on Sunday to talk more about our conversations on Dear Alpha Female. It's not him, it's you. Back on Sunday and then Monday with more reality checks. You guys stay tuned and have a great weekend. I'll see you next time. All right. Bye bye.